Basic Spanish, Program 14. A typical day.
Lo veo todas las mañanas.
I see him every morning. One person is doing the seeing and another is being seen.
Me veo en el espejo.
I see myself in the mirror.
Me veo
Is a reflexive construction because the subject, the one doing the seeing, and the object, the one being seen, are the same. Which is the reflexive construction? Eso es.
Usted le sirve café.
You serve him coffee.
Usted se sirve café.
You serve yourself coffee. Me, myself, and se, yourself, are reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are like direct and indirect object pronouns for the yo, tú, and nosotros, nosotras forms. The other two forms are se. The reflexive pronouns are
Me, te, se, nos, se.
match these sentences. Muy bien. Many reflexive constructions in Spanish are not reflexive in their most common English equivalent. For instance,
Ellos se despiertan.
they wake themselves up, most often in English is just, they wake up. How do you say, we wake up at 6? Correcto. Say, I wake up early. Verdad.
Me despierto a las 6.
I wake up at 6.
Me levanto a las 6.
I get up at 6. Ask a friend what time he or she gets up. ¿Cómo no? Speaking to several people, ask what time they get up. Bravo.
Los despiertan.
They wake them up. This is not a reflexive construction. The infinitive is,
Despertar. Se despiertan.
they wake up. This construction is reflexive. The infinitive is,
Despertarse.
to wake oneself up. Infinitives of reflexive verbs, in their vocabulary list form, have the reflexive pronoun se at the end.
Levantar.
Is to get someone else up. What is to get oneself up? Bien hecho. Reflexive pronouns, like direct and indirect object pronouns you have already worked with, follow and are attached to infinitives and precede conjugated verbs. I want to get up at 6 is,
Quiero levantarme a las 6.
or,
Me quiero levantar a las 6.
how would you ask a friend what time he or she is going to wake up? Por supuesto. How could would you say, we're going to get up at 6? Sí.
Afeitar,
Is to shave.
bañar,
Is to bathe.
peinar,
Means to comb someone's hair. In using verbs dealing with personal care, such as these, who is being shaved, bathed, combed, and so forth usually is indicated.
el barbero lo afeita,
The barber shaves him. But most often these verbs are used reflexively. For example,
él se afeita,
he shaves himself. How do you say, Juan is shaving now? Claro que sí.
bañar,
Is to bathe.
la madre baña a la niña,
The mother bathes the child.
su madre la baña,
Her mother bathes her. To take a bath, literally to bathe oneself, is,
bañarse,
how do you say, then her mother takes a bath? Bien.
vestir,
Is to dress. If
su madre la viste,
is her mother dresses her, what do you suppose is her mother gets dressed? Eso es. Remember
peinar,
to comb someone's hair? How do you say, I get dressed and comb my hair? Muy bien.
sentar,
Is to seat. We go to a restaurant for breakfast. They seat us by the window is,
nos sientan junto a la ventana. Sentarse,
is to sit down, literally to seat oneself. How do you say, on the bus we sit down? Think of what you literally have to say. Bueno,
sentir,
means to feel, to regret.
lo siento,
Is, I regret it, I'm sorry.
sentirse,
Is to feel, talking about someone's health or attitude.
me siento bien,
I feel fine.
se siente triste,
He feels sad. How do you say, they don't feel well? Sí. The yo form of
sentarse,
and of
sentirse,
is the same in the present indicative.
me siento,
You tell from context what me siento means. Match these sentences. Por supuesto.
desayunar,
Is to eat breakfast. Note that this is not a reflexive verb. How do you say, I eat breakfast at a restaurant? excelente. Some Spanish verbs used reflexively have a meaning that differs somewhat from that of the non-reflexive form. For example,
ir,
to go, and
irse,
to go, with the idea of go off, leave. How do you say, I go to, take off for, work at 8? Verdad.
dormir,
Means to sleep.
dormirse,
Is to fall asleep. Say, he falls asleep on the bus. Eso es.
acostar,
Is to put to bed.
su madre la acuesta,
Her mother puts her to bed.
luego se acuesta.
Then she goes to bed.
Acostarse,
Is to go to bed. Literally, to put oneself to bed. Say, I go to bed early. Correcto.
llamar,
Means to call.
me llama a las 9.
He calls me at 9.
Llamarse,
Is to be named. For someone's name to be. Literally, to call oneself.
¿cómo se llama usted?
What is your name? Literally, how do you call yourself? How will Juan answer the question?
¿Cómo se llama usted?
Remember, he has to say, I call myself. Sí. Ask a child what his or her name is. Bien hecho. Say, my boss's name is Antonio. Bravo.
Me quito la chaqueta.
I take off my jacket.
Quitar,
Is to remove.
quitarse,
Is to take off. Literally, to remove from oneself. With articles of clothing and parts of the body, Spanish usually uses a definite article where English uses a possessive. Here the sentence says, I take off the jacket. Say, I take off my shoes. Perfecto.
ella se pone el suéter.
She puts on her sweater. You remember
Pone,
from
poner,
to put.
se pone,
Is from
ponerse,
to put on.
ropa,
Is clothing, clothes.
ropa cómoda,
Is comfortable clothes. Say, I put on comfortable clothes. ¿Cómo no? We put on our coats is.
nos ponemos el abrigo.
Note that Spanish uses the singular
Abrigo,
while English uses the plural coats. In construction similar to this one, where each person has or is using only one of an item, in Spanish the singular is used.
Sombrero.
Is hat. Say, they take off their hats. Excelente.
Juan lava el auto.
Juan washes the car.
Después se lava las manos.
Afterwards, he washes his hands.
Lavar.
Is to wash.
Lavarse.
Means to wash up, to wash oneself.
Se lava.
Is he washes up, he washes himself. And
Se lava las manos.
is how you say he washes his hands.
Cara.
Is face. Say, I wash my face. Magnífico. This letter, these bills, and that magazine came in the mail today. The words this, these, and that indicate which letter, which bills, and which magazine are being talked about. This, these, and that are demonstrative adjectives. Which is the demonstrative in this sentence? Muy bien.
Esta carta y estas facturas.
This letter and these bills.
Esta.
This and
Estas.
these demonstrative adjectives agree with the nouns to which they refer. Here,
Carta.
and
Facturas. Tarjeta.
is card. How do you say, who is this card from? Eso es.
Esa tarjeta y aquella revista.
That card nearby and that magazine over there.
Esa.
And
Aquella.
both are feminine singular to agree with the nouns to which they refer.
Tarjeta.
And
Revista.
both mean that, with
Esa.
referring to something nearby and
Aquella.
indicating something farther away. Say, this magazine, that letter by you, and that bill over there. Sí. Give the plural of this magazine,
Esta revista.
that letter,
Esa carta.
that bill over there,
Aquella factura.
saying these magazines, those letters, those bills over there. Perfecto. In the mail today, there also were some catalogs,
Unos catálogos.
2 packages,
Dos paquetes.
and several receipts.
Varios recibos.
Remember,
Estas revistas. Esas cartas. Aquellas facturas.
These packages is,
estos paquetes.
how do you suppose you say those catalogs and those receipts over there? Bueno. You remember
Esto, eso,
and
aquello.
what is that?
¿Qué es eso?
This is a present from Pedro.
Esto es un regalo de Pedro. Esto, eso,
And
aquello
are neuter forms, referring to anything just as a thing. Since they end in O, the masculine singular forms can't.
estos paquetes,
Is these packages. How do you think you say this package? Bien hecho.
estos paquetes, este paquete. Esos catálogos, ese catálogo. Aquellos recibos, aquel recibo.
Pay close attention to the masculine singular demonstratives
Este, ese,
and
aquel.
how would you say this? Claro. To summarize, here are the demonstrative adjectives.
Este, estos. Esta, estas. Ese, esos. Esa, esas. Aquel, aquellos. Aquella, aquellas.
Say the following. Por supuesto.
¿Quieres esta revista o esa?
Do you want this magazine or that one?
Quiero esa.
I want that one.
Esa,
That one is a demonstrative pronoun. It stands for pro, the noun to which it refers. Masculine and feminine demonstrative pronouns are exactly like their adjective counterparts, except they have a written accent on them. Say these schedules and that one. Correcto. Say, I don't take that bus nearby. I take that one over there. Bueno. Let's count from 10 to 100 by tens.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90,
And
100,
look carefully at
20,
and.
30.
They both are spelled with EI.
20,
Ends in E,
30,
ends in A. Note that all numbers from 30 to 90 end in A. Count from 10 to 50 by tens. Bravo.
60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Pay special attention to the spelling of
60, 70,
and.
90.
Count from 60 to 100 by tens. Magnifico. Remember, 22, for example, can be written as one word or as three.
22,
Or,
22.
from 30 on up, numbers of more than one word have to be written out. There are no contractions as there are in the 20s. So you say, for example,
35,
35,
84,
84. Say 99. Excelente.